what is the formula to calculate the compound interest and the total amount when interest is compounded quarterly? So quarterly means that the interest will be calculated for a period of every 3 months, right? So 3 months means what? 3 months means 1/4 year. So let's begin the calculation and let's derive the formula. So you have to remember this, that 3 months means 1/4 year. Now, for the first 3 months, so your principal, suppose you take some amount P1 from the bank, principal will be P1, rate will be R% per annum, and the time period will be 3 months, and 3 months is equal to 1/4 year. Okay, now tell me, if you calculate interest for this first period of 3 months, because it is quarterly, so the simple interest in this case will be, let's denote it with SI1, that is simple interest 1. This is equal to P multiplied by R multiplied by T. What's P? P is principal, in this case it is P1. What's R? R is R%, that is rate, so write it as R by 100, multiplied by T is 1/4 year. Okay, always put T as years and not as months. So this will be equal to P1 multiplied by R by 400. Okay, so if this is the interest for this first period of 3 months, then tell me what will be the loan amount at the end of this first period of 3 months, that is for the first conversion period. Loan amount. The loan amount will be equal to P1 plus simple interest 1. What's P1 here? P1 is the principal for this first year. So P1 plus what's SI1? SI1 is P1 multiplied by R by 100. Okay, now in this term P1 and in this term here P1 is common. So if you take from here, if you take P1 common, then in this term you'll have 1 plus this plus, and here you'll have R by 100. The distributivity property of multiplication over addition, this is one. So this loan amount of at the end of first period of 3 months is this, and this loan amount will be the principal for the next period of 3 months. So the second 3 months. In this case, let's denote the principal by P2, and P2 will be equal to this, that is P1 1 plus R by 100, and your rate will remain the same, that is R% per annum, and time period will be equal to 1/4 year, that is 3 months. So if you calculate simple interest, let's denote it by SI2. So SI2 will be equal to P2, that is a principal. Here it is P1 multiplied by 1 plus R by 100 multiplied by R, that is R by 100 multiplied by T, that is 1/4 year. So you'll get from here P1 1 plus R by 100 and multiplied by R by 400. Okay, so if this is the interest for this second period of 3 months, what will be the loan amount at the end of this period, that is this for second conversion period? loan amount will be equal to P2 plus SI2, that is equal to P2 is equal to P1 and 1 plus R by, sorry, this should be 400. I'm sorry, it's wrong. This should be 400. Here you'll have 4 and here you'll have 4. So here also you'll have to change. I'm sorry for this. This is 400. Here you'll have 400. Here you'll have 400. So finally you'll get P1 multiplied by R by 400, and then SI2 is P1 multiplied by 1 plus R by 400 multiplied by R by 400. Okay, now in this term P1 multiplied by 1 plus R by 400, and in this term P1 multiplied by 1 plus R by 400 is common. So if you take out this P1 multiplied by R by 400, so P1 multiplied by 1 plus R by 400, then you'll have this will be 1 plus, and this will be R by 400. Distributivity property of multiplication or addition. Okay, now 1 plus R by 400 multiplied by 1 plus R by 400, can we write it as squared? That is P1 multiplied by 1 plus R by 400 squared, right? Now this is a loan amount for the second conversion period, right? At the second conversion period you get this amount, that's a loan amount, and now this will be the principal for the third period of 3 months. So for the third period of 3 months, principal, let's denote it with P3. This P3 will be equal to this one, that is P1 multiplied by 1 plus R by 400 squared. Rate will be R% per annum, and time period will be equal to 1 by 4 year. Now if you calculate the simple interest for this month, third period of 3 months, let's denote it with SI3. This SI3 will be equal to P3 plus, sorry, this will be equal to P1 1 plus R by 400 squared multiplied by R by 100 multiplied by 1 by 4. So from here you get P1 1 plus R by 400 squared multiplied by R by 400. So if this is a simple interest for the third period of 3 months, what will be the loan amount at the end of this third period of 3 months? This will be the loan amount. This will be the loan amount. So this loan amount is equal to P3 plus SI3. What's P3? P3 is P1 multiplied by 1 plus R by 400 squared plus SI3 is P1 multiplied by 1 plus R by 400 squared multiplied by R by 400. This will be equal to, in this term P1 multiplied by R by 400, 1 plus R by 400 squared, and in this term P1 multiplied by 1 plus R by 400 squared is common. Take out this P1 1 plus R by 400 squared, and you are left with 1 plus R by 400. Right now 1 plus R by 400 squared multiplied by 1 plus R by 400. So can we write it as this cubed, right? Now, this is the loan amount at the third period of 3 months. Now, you can observe a pattern. What's the pattern? The pattern is that this is the loan amount at the end of first period of 3 months. That is, after 3 months, this is the first loan amount that becomes the principal for the next period of 3 months. So if you assume that here, if it is power 1, and now in this case here, this is the loan amount for the second period of 3 months. That is for the second conversion period is this amount. Now here you have 2. So this one is for the first period of 3 months. This one is the second period of 3 months. And in this case, it is 3. This tells you the third period of 3 months. It means that if someone asks you that what will be the principal amount or the total amount that you'll have to pay back to the bank after, let's say, 7 quarters. If someone says that after 7 quarters. Now 7 quarters means that that person is actually asking for 7th period of 3 months, right? 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, 3 months, that is total 21 months. Okay. So 7 quarters means that that person is asking for 21 months. In that case, the formula is simple, that you take this one, P1 multiplied by 1 plus R by 400, and you put 7 here, because for 1 it is 1, for 2 it is 2, for 3 it is 3, therefore for 7 it is 7. It means that if I put n here, then n tells you that n is the number of quarters. Remember, it is number of quarters, it is not years. But when you have to tell the formula in the form of years, if you know the quarters, that is how many number of 3 months that question is given, it is given in the question, then you will use this one. But if it is asking in terms of years, let's say that the person asks you for 1.5 year. Now this is actually what is a mixed fraction, 1.5 year. We can write it as 3/2 year, right? We can write it as 3/2 year. Okay, in that case, the only change you'll make in this formula is, this is when you are given number of quarters. The only change you will make is that P1 multiplied by 1 plus R by 400 to the power 4n, where n will be, in this case it was quarters, in this case n will be years, year or years. Okay, now in this case, if you look at this one, this is 3/2 year. So what will be your answer? The answer will be that P1 1 plus R by 400 and 4 multiplied by 3/2. If you solve it, this will be equal to 6, right? This is equal to 6. This is what 6 is. Actually, if you calculate from this one, in 1 year you have how many quarters? You have 4 quarters. So in another half year, how many quarters you will have? Another 2 quarters. So you have total 6 quarters, right? So if 6 quarters is given, straight put here. If it has been given in the form of year, put here. Ultimately, you'll get the same answer. Like if from here also, if you quickly calculate the number of quarters, just put it here. But if you want to proceed by taking this value of year, then just put it here. That is 4 multiplied by n, right? Let's take a few example. Like okay, before that, if this is the amount, if this is the total amount, if this is the total amount that you have to pay back to the bank, tell me what will be the compound interest. Now compound interest is easy, that is a total amount minus principal. If you know how to calculate the amount, then you can easily calculate the compound interest. So now you know what's the formula, simply put it here. So compound interest will be, for this, when interest is compounded quarterly, the formula will be A is P1 1 plus R by 400 to the power 4n, and P in this case is P1. Actually we have taken a value. This is when we talk generally, that C compound interest is equal to amount minus principal. So here it is P1. Now in this case the P1 is common, so P1, and from here you get 1 plus R by 400 to the power 4n minus 1, right? So this is the formula for compound interest. Again, if you know this formula, then you can easily calculate it. Now let's take this one only. So suppose the amount is given by P1 1 plus R by 400, and this is 4n. So let's say the air given is 5 1 by 2, right? 5 1 by 2. So if you want to use this value, this will be 11 by 2 here, this will be 11 by 2 here. Now if you want to put here, so this 4n will become 4 multiplied by 11 by 2, and this is equal to actually 22. So if you put 22 here, you will get the answer. Now another way to calculate it is you can calculate from here. 5 years means that you'll have 5 times 4 quarters, because in 1 year you have 4 quarters, in 5 years you'll have 5 times 4 quarters, and then plus this is half year. Half year means that you'll have 2 quarters, right? So if you calculate it, you'll get 22. Okay, so this is about the formula of to calculate the amount when the interest is compounded quarterly. So we are done with interest compounded annually, then semi-annually, and then quarterly. We have discussed all these three, and next we'll solve some problems on this in our next coming video tutorials.